Question number 7, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Education. Is she satisfied that the establishment of partnership schools represents value for money to the taxpayer?
Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr Speaker, yes. Mr Speaker, they offer choice to parents and students. There is no compulsion to attend. Mr Speaker, they offer opportunity for raising achievement for 5 out of 5. We can't keep doing exactly what we've always done, or we'll keep getting what we've always got. Mr Speaker, all 5 of the schools offer the New Zealand curriculum and o te marautanga o Aotearoa. Mr Speaker, of the 36 teachers employed, 32 are registered and 4 are for non-curriculum subjects. Mr Speaker, all 5 are not-for-profit. All 5 are near or above enrolment. Mr Speaker, in our education system we have just over 830,000 students. These 5 schools provide for 370. Mr Speaker, I think we should give these schools a chance, in the words of Mrs Sally Ikifono, the Board Chair of Rise Up Academy and the Labour Electorate Chair of Mangere.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Will partnership schools be funded on a broadly similar basis to state schools, or will they be funded more generously on a per-student basis?
Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr Speaker, I gather that the opposition is yet again taking their advice from PPTA blogs. They will be, smaller schools cost us more, whether they are partnership schools or state state-integrated schools. We have used Decile 3 funding as the general comparison. Well, I'll wait to hear the particular numbers from the member, but I would invoke your Deputy Leader's advice to compare apples with apples.
Mr Speaker. I'm very happy to help.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Why is she satisfied that the taxpayer is getting value for money from partnership schools, given on a per-student basis some are being funded up to $40,000 per student in the first year, about 5 times the average rate of funding per student for state schools?
Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I'm sure the member wants to thank the PPTA for their blog on those numbers, and where they got them from was the original Cabinet paper, which I would commend the member read and see that there is a different range depending on what the size of the school is, what the nature of the achievement level required, and if we averaged everything across the state system, we too would find those. So yes, I am satisfied with the value for money for these young people.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, if she's arguing that the smaller size of partnership schools is the rationale for them receiving a higher funding rate, why did she use falling rolls as the reason for closing state schools in Christchurch and in other places around the country?
Mr Speaker, that's not the argument I'm making, and again a few facts to get in the way of the argument. In New Zealand, according to the July 2013 roll data, 712 of our 2,500 schools have fewer than 100 students. A further 290 of our schools have fewer than 150 students. So that is just under half of all schools in New Zealand are small schools. They cost more.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, are partnership schools guaranteed that they will receive all of the funding allocated in their contracts regardless of the number of students they actually enrol, meaning their per-student funding could actually be higher than $40,000 per student in the first year? If so, why are they treated differently to state schools who lose funding on a quarterly basis if their roll drops?
Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr Speaker, no.
Order. Order. Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table one of the charter schools funding contracts that makes it clear that they are funded for the minimum role regardless of how many students they actually enrol.
To table this particular funding contract. Is there any objection? There is none. It can be tabled. Question number 8, Dr Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister for Climate Change Issues.